On state police, we must get it clearly that state police request is part of the issue that is germane in restructuring of the flawed Nigerian state. Nowhere in any country under a democracy that federalism is being practiced, that you have a central policing system. Apart from the fact that policing is a local issue because crimes are locally engendered, and it is almost impossible to prevent crime and get criminal objects within a community from afar. What we have noticed is that, okay, somebody is from Sokoto, you send him to my village here as DPO. Of course, he takes the 4 3 years even trying to get himself familiarized with the area. And I do not know how somebody who cannot even understand the language, I'm talking about the local dialect, will be able to, even if he sits at a beer parlor, the nuances, the codings, the way of speaking of the people, there's no way he can master it, no matter how much he try to learn it. And if a state governor is supposed to be an executive power, executive authority within a state, power to make laws, or at least power to make laws for the good governance of his state, I don't see why such a person should be denied the power to enforce such laws. As St. Aquinas says, laws without sword are mere words. If a state governor has the power to make laws and it says he has to rely on somebody else to enforce such laws to him, it's a mockery of his powers. And the idea that the state governors will have to misuse the powers at their behest. Yes, powers are often misused by whoever holds them and has control over them. And the federal government have presently control our policing system in the Nigerian state. It's also guilty of that. Because not often that we hear of federal power against states where the central party, the party controlling the center, is contesting to take over. And we see what we witness at our elections. And we don't even need to wait till the election time or talk about election. We also saw what happened in Anambra State when people, even within the same power, we are talking about people within the same political party, how they had access to central policing apparatus and came to unleash terror on the sitting governor. To the extent that the governor was kidnapped, kept in a toilet, and was being forced to sign a letter of resignation simply because they had a disagreement within their common political party affiliation. Of course, while all of this was going on, the police in the state, just looked aside because they were favored by the power at the center. And we also see what is happening in Kano State now. The governor exercises power to remove an emir. This is without prejudice to the fact that whether the emir deserves to be removed. At least he exercised that power conferred on him. And he appointed another emir who was also removed by his predecessor for whatever reason. But because the emir removed enjoys the support of the federal authority, that governor could not enforce his decision, as the former emir was simply relocated to a different palace and protected by the state security apparatus. I'm talking about the Nigerian state security apparatus. And the order of the sitting governor that the emir be arrested for parading himself as the emir was just ignored. Nobody could enforce it. So, what are we talking about? And who is even saying that the police to be, the police, people to run the state as policemen are going to come from another planet? They are also going to be Nigerians. So, what is the big deal about they are not matured? Oh, the states are not mature to have the central, to have their own police system. And to think of the fact that police command in every state, beyond their salary coming from the central authority, they are largely funded in their logistics by state governors. We see, go to any state secretariat around the governor's office, you have fleet of operational vehicles. And if you ask, they are for police, whether it's motorcycle, whether it's vehicles, and even some commands are allocated some funds every month from so-called security allocations to state governors. So if you now tell me, don't have the financial capacity to run state governors, well, let us even assume that is possible. Then readjust. Once you are shedding off your responsibility, then of course redistribute the funds to wherever they should be. And in everywhere, policing is a local issue. It's a diminishing of the status of a governor if he does not possess the power to run his state as he pleases, under the pretext of the fact that he will use such powers against his opponents. What we should be thinking of is how to safeguard the interest of the ordinary man on the street, whether it belongs to the ruling party or outside the governor's party. After all, even the ruling party deploy powers against their opponents within the same party structure. So, in crime where we are often ready to quote what happened there, even the universities have their policing system. In the First Republic, there was what we call constabulary forces being managed at the local government level. If you want to see how some of these governors are humiliated, beyond the one in Anambra State, where thugs employed by some of the opponents of a city governor within their party, based on disagreement, secure the services of police in the Nigerian state to sack the whole state, destroying state infrastructure, radio stations, television stations, and so many other things. The police within the government governor's lodge or government house were ordered to stay back and do nothing. It took the intervention of somebody within the state, the central power apparatus, to call the police to go intervene, because the governor had access to call his own man within the party. You don't run a state like that. You don't run a state like that. The governor should be able to have powers to to run their state. Let them misuse it. Let's have a let's let have procedure by which we can check such abuse of power. I once I was on with the state governor when his special advisor on security matters just rushed in and said has been the command is a commissioner of police has been removed. Nobody had a courtesy of even informing the city governor that is his so-called commissioner of police to, I mean, is being redeployed. Meanwhile, he's decorated as the chief security officer of the state. Yet the person to whom he should give instruction to manage the state is being removed without a courtesy of being informed. There was a time the state governor was trying to sanitize Lagos Ibadan Expressway and tries to enforce rules of right of way where people from different ethnic groups, or majorly from the north, has, constituted a kind of nuisance. And it's still there now. Of course, facilities have been mobilized to go destroy those shanties that were already extended to the expressway, constituting a lot of traffic jam because vehicular movements were being blocked. And what did we notice? A phone call came asking the governor to pull back. And meanwhile, they even already asked the commissioner of police to ensure that those trying to enforce the instruction of the governor were disobeyed. This is the kind of things that we get in this kind of system. So as part of the restructuring, we must ensure that the states are empowered within the ambience of a federal structure as to be passed in a democracy. Thank you.